welcome to my vlog. My name is Annika and I'm a knitwear designer from Finland and of course a knitter as well. Few things. In my previous episode I forgot to say what I'm wearing. Well, that was just a colorwork sweater that I came up with 4 years ago, I think. It doesn't have a pattern and most likely it will never have one. That said, it's still a great one to use outdoors and indoors as well. Contrary to what I'm wearing today, which is the Ruska sweater, this actually has a pattern and it's available on Ravelry if you're interested. This is also great for outdoors. I've used it a lot foraging for mushrooms and picking cranberries and whatnot. And yes, it is also great to wear inside during winter, obviously. Yeah. So what else? Oh, I probably should mention the yarn. The yarn is Gilliatt. Absolutely no idea how to pronounce that. My French is non-existent. From Dererum Natura, and it's in the colorway Caramel and Cell, I think. I don't have the Gilliatt here, but I have Ulysse. Still no idea how to pronounce it, in the same colorway, Caramel, and this is Cell, the off-white one. This is half the thickness of Gilliatt or something like that. But yeah, maybe I should not rush too much into the next topic, which I have no idea what will be, and maybe talk a bit about this Ruska sweater. I think it was actually I should have checked when was it, 2021 or 22, but anyhow, the Finnish company called Novita, which is a Finnish yarn brand to be more precise, announced on their Instagram that they are starting a competition for sweater designs that featured their yarn called Seitsemän veljestä, which is 7 brothers, because it was an anniversary. Was it 70 years since they made that yarn? I should have checked. Oh well, I don't really mind, something like that. But okay, that yarn has been around for quite a while. So at first I was like, I read what they wanted, and I read also how much money will be offered for the selected design, which was 200 euros. And then I laughed, and then I thought that, okay, well, that's a bit too little. So move on. Okay, yeah, it's better than nothing, but still, you have to design a sweater, you have to buy your own yarn for it, and you don't know if you succeed and then you get 200 euros as return of investment. Anyhow. So maybe also other people thought that that money was insufficient, because a few days passed and then they announced that they are offering a bit more money, which was like probably 300 euros. Okay, that's still not enough for a sweater design, but a bit better. So I went to the nearest store that sold Seitsemän veljestä, and I picked up 2 colorways that I thought would suit me and the design that I had in my mind, and I started working on it. So this is, just a minute, I'll have to show you the front. This is the original Ruska sweater that I designed for the competition. This is an Novita Seitsemän veljestä yarn. Absolutely no idea about the colorway. I'm not sure if they make this rusty one anymore. This is just a white one. This is actually Snow White colorway. And yes, so I think this was probably the first ever sweater design that I actually thought a bit more about what to and how to do. I mean, the yoke, the details, maybe a bit about the fit. I mean, it just looks like a yoke sweater, which in fact it is. You have the beginning of the round in the back, which is, I don't know if you know it, but that's not the traditional way of doing it. It's supposed to be on, is it the left side of the shoulder? Sort of like here or here. But anyhow, I was trying to create something that is more or less timeless. I mean, if the Seven Brothers yarn would be around for another 70 years, then hopefully, I don't know if our world is so futuristic by then that we don't need hand-knit sweaters, maybe. Everything will be 3D printed. Anyhow, but hopefully in 70 years it would still look contemporary. Is that the word? And hopefully it will. So I try to use motifs that are sort of timeless. It's nothing that you haven't seen before, I admit that. Still, I like how they are arranged, how they are somewhat cohesive, at least in my mind. Let me know what you think about it. And then I also like this kind of sections where there's just, you know, one MC, one CC, which means one main color, one contrast color sections, and it continues throughout. And then there's the same detail on the cuffs and on the bottom. So yes, this is the original one. I sent them the chart, the sweater, and probably how much yarn I used. I thought that the 300 euros that they were offering was enough for the fact that I didn't have to write the pattern, I didn't have to go through a test knit round or anything. So they wrote up the pattern. And about that, funny enough, oh yeah, I should mention that in my original one I have, again, my favorite cast on and cast off. I think it's, yeah. Tubular bind off and tubular cast on. I think it's done that way. Yeah, you cast on for the ribbing immediately and it's not done afterwards. But the pattern doesn't have that. This one also has Japanese short rows on the bottom of the yoke. Yes. Which is just a different way of doing short rows. I mean, I think instead of doing the double stitch like in the German short rows, you pick up a strand of yarn from the row below, if I remember correctly. It results in the same thing. You can do it either way. I don't like the wrap and turn version. And what else? Yes, in this size the patterns are centered, and the pattern came out. There wasn't any, I think, yeah, the instructions lack the short rows and they lack the tubular bind off, and the colorwork pattern was not centered. So the one in the magazine is only finished, so it doesn't really matter, doesn't have a centered yoke. Okay, that's fine. I was a bit disappointed. I should have been paying more attention or asking more questions about how you are actually writing the pattern. But anyhow, lesson learned. Then after a while I got back the rights. I don't remember how long was the period that they held the rights. And I thought that, okay, since I was a bit annoyed that the original pattern that they wrote, well, the pattern that they wrote, not the original design, didn't have the details that I actually put in the sweater, I thought that, okay, maybe I'll write up the pattern also in English and I'll put in those elements. So the pattern available on Ravelry has the yoke centered. I had help from my designer friend, thank you, and has the short rows. What else does it have? Yeah, has the tubular bind off and cast on, I think. Sorry, I might be coming down with a flu. It feels very strange. Anyhow, and yes, I chose a different yarn because I noticed that this one, although it should be a workhorse of a yarn, it doesn't really do well with, is it abrasion? I've used this on a, what's it called? Jesus. Off-piste? It's not off-piste because it's not actually off-piste. It's free-riding, yes, on a free-riding tour in Lapland, and I have a bib pant. I mean, yeah, it comes up until here, and I use this underneath it, and I noticed that after a few hours of use it was pilling quite a lot. But yeah, so this should be a workhorse yarn, and that's why I opted for Gilliatt for the second version. I think this is a better workhorse yarn. Of course, this is a lot more expensive, so I do understand why people opt for that one, at least Finnish people. Yes, so that's about the Ruska sweater. I've seen quite many of these, not lately of course, because people tend to knit stuff the minute that they come out. I mean, the patterns come out and then they forget about it. But I still hope that some people do look this up and maybe want to knit it in the future. And yeah, I also have seen men wear this, although it's not, well, it's sort of a unisex design, but the measurements are more or less for women. I mean, men have longer arms, probably their torso is a bit differently shaped than ours. They don't have boobs, for example. well, most men don't have boobs, let's put it that way. Yeah, so after that, was it, yes, last year, May? Yeah, my wrist was healed enough so that I could knit something, and I wanted to have a small project to take with me on vacation. So I thought that maybe it would be fun to knit up socks that have the same motifs. So I did that, and actually I'm wearing those, so I'm taking it off from my feet right now. Is that gross? Well, maybe. So these are the Ruska socks. And like I said in a couple of videos way back, you should wear your knits. Don't wait for special occasions. And I've been wearing these for a week now. It's made of Skein Queen Crush. I can't remember the colorways. Foxhole, I think it's the rusty one, and something else. I bought these originally for a mystery shawl knit along from West Knits that I started and never finished. I just think that although it might be fun to knit a West Knits shawl pattern, and he comes up with a shawl mystery pattern every year, it's just not for me, which is fine. If it's for you, then it's okay. So anyhow, the Ruska socks looks like this, and they come in 2 sizes, so maybe you'll find something that fits you. I'm also thinking about at some point making maybe a beanie, but I just have so many ideas in my head that I probably don't have time to do that, and maybe it's not even necessary. So yes, this is definitely a very warm sweater. It's 20 degrees Celsius inside, so I'm really toasting in it. That said, about my last episode, about yarn stash, I forgot to mention one thing. I think it's funny, but yeah, the world's cheapest yarn is the one already in your stash, in case you didn't know that. So yeah, this is a tiny beginning of a sock that I started for the handicraft fair because I thought that I don't want to take along with me the dress that I'm knitting, but I didn't get very far. So this is basically what I've done. It's Regia 4-ply, one of my favorite workhorse of a sock yarn. The colorway is some gray. Yeah, I probably should take out the bands. What are they called? Bands? But I'm not really here to influence you in buying this or that yarn or knit from this or that yarn. Just use what you have and what you like. Is that wrong? I mean, I spent a few years of my life selling yarn, so I probably don't need to do that at the moment. What else do I want to say? Oh, I actually wanted to ask you, do you like yoke sweaters? Do you wear them outside? What are your favorite yarns to use for yoke sweaters? I know that many people during COVID knit a tons of this type of sweaters in Letlopi and Alafoslopi, and I and that's okay, but I don't know what to say about that. I really dislike both of those yarns. They itch like hell, and usually nothing itches me except those. So I'd rather knit everything from Plötulopi. I'll get to Plötulopi hopefully one of these episodes. That's my favorite Icelandic yarn. And Einband, which is a very thin Icelandic yarn. I think it's a single ply. But yeah, also great for sweaters. If you really want to stay warm in minus 30 degrees, then yes, knit something from Icelandic wool, not merino. This is merino. This one is wool and nylon, polyamide. How you pronounce that? I mean, English is so difficult occasionally. I mean, why is it syrup instead of syrup? It really beats me. Maybe I haven't understand something. Anyhow, what have you been doing? I probably should come up with more opinionated stuff about knitting. And yes, I do have a lot of it, but I'm not sure that really leads me anywhere. So maybe I'll just continue knitting. Oh, maybe I should try and talk a bit about inspiration, since I've showcased you the Ruska sweater and my idea behind the design. Maybe it's a cliche, but yes, you can find inspiration anywhere. And I really urge you to look elsewhere than stitch dictionaries. I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but plenty of people seem to be using the Japanese Stitch Bible by Hitomi Shida. And yes, they look awesome. I really like how they look, and I have a few designs based on that, but they are from 5 years ago, and I haven't used that since. I'm not saying that you need to reinvent the wheel. The knit stitch Bibles are there to be used, and that's their point. But still, I would encourage you to, I don't know, go to museums, read books, go out in nature, go to swim, just anything. Look at other designs, like look at fashion. Of course, everybody is up on Pinterest looking for fashion trends in 2025 and colors and all that. That's one way to do it, but you can also look at furniture design. You can look at, I don't know, wallpaper design. Maybe it will be a bit tricky to actually knit something inspired by that, but you never know. What else? Geometry, math, patterns, like patterns in nature. What else can I come up with? I don't know. You can be also inspired by certain activities. Yeah, like I said, yeah, go outdoors, but maybe running, maybe cycling. Yeah, anything. And dreams. Actually, dreams are a funny way to be inspired. Sometimes I dream about knits that I haven't designed yet. Some work, others don't. but you can try that too. And if you dream about knitwear, then write down what it was and maybe realize it someday. That could be fun. I haven't tried it yet. I have drawn one thing from my dreams, which is a summer top, which is kind of funny because I said in my previous episode that I hate summer knits and summer yarn. Well, hate is a strong word. Dislike is probably better. But let's put it this way. I'm still not a huge fan of summer yarns. And yes, you can knit summer things in merino wool. I have one vest that worked in plus 24 degrees. But more degrees than that and you're really toasting. So yes, maybe silk would be a better option for summer, or linen, or even cotton. I don't like knitting with them. My hands hurt. Yeah, maybe I should improve my technique. That's one way to do it. But that said, I did think about having a sort of summer collection at some point, but maybe that's in 2026. At the moment, I don't have time to do summer knits, and frankly, I should probably do them right now if I want to launch them in the beginning of summer. Right now is November. Yeah, it's kind of funny how early you should start designing and thinking about the upcoming year. So, yeah, somebody said that February is already too late to start designing for summer things. Maybe, because that means that, okay, if you have a garment and you would need time to write the pattern, you would need time to do the testing round, launching it, and that's about maybe 2 months. Even if you're fast, well, I don't know how long. Yeah, it depends, I guess, on the designer how long the testing period is, but for a sweater it should be something 1.5 months to 2 months probably. If it's a summer top, then maybe 1 month is enough. But yeah, so back to inspiration. You can find anywhere. I designed way back when a beanie for Brooklyn Tweed based on a pattern that I saw on a wall in a TV program about Portugal. So there, you never know. And you can find patterns anywhere. And if you're interested in designing, and if you have been knitting for a while, then you know that after a while you start to see patterns in everything and anything. That's how our brains work, to my understanding. I might be wrong. Are there some people out there on the other side who know about pattern recognition and the brain? Yes, so inspiration. But if you really don't know where to start, then I suppose I take back just what I said. Then maybe a pattern, a knitting dictionary. How would I call it? What did I? Stitch dictionary. It's a good way to start. I mean, they have this huge one from Vogue Knitting. Have tons of patterns, color work, lace, cable. What else do they have? Mosaic knitting. That's, you can find stuff in there that you might want to use in one of your upcoming designs. You can also, of course, look at what people have designed and then just use that pattern in a different way. I mean, it's not copyrighted really. You can use anything from this yoke and make it your own, and I really wouldn't have anything to say about it. So there. Yeah, there are two different things. I mean, what's legally okay and what's morally okay. So please don't copy too much other designers. That's not cool. Yes, you can be influenced. That's a different thing. Yeah, I don't know again how long I've been talking, but I feel like I need to grab something to drink and maybe go outside since the weather is okay for November, and continue knitting my sock. So I hope that everything is okay with you, and you get a chance to enjoy November wherever you are. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of funny, people, and even myself, I do complain about the weather, but then in the end there's nothing I can do about it. That's the one thing that I really can't do much about it. Even if I move somewhere else, then I would probably find things to complain about that weather. It would probably be too hot, too bright, too this or too that. So yeah, it is what it is. You still can enjoy it. That said, I'll hope to see you next time, and please remember to subscribe or not, or give me a like or dislike, or leave a comment, and maybe share some tips about how you spend your November. November is one of the darkest months in Finland. Yeah, there is that. But that's fine. Yeah. So, until next time, bye.